recording now.
Recording. Okay, your names, age and your relationship to each other, and then you can get going.
Okay, my name is Kes Wickham St George. I'm from New Zealand. I'm in my 70s, and my relationship with Diana is a mad, crazy one. We laugh lots, and I've only known her for about 5 years, but I encouraged her to go with a publisher and publish her children's books.
My name is Diana Smith. I'm from New Zealand as well. I'm 52. And I stalk Kes on Facebook, looking for advice on how to publish books.
Okay, so Diana, I've got you in front of the microphone. At long last, we're going to have an interview videoed and on radio, I guess. So, yeah, let's start with some questions that are going to enlighten some people about who, what, when, and how about you. So, first of all,
interesting.
well, no rude things. What brought you into writing a children's book? I mean, there are a dime a dozen. So, what really drove you to write a children's book? What was the feeling behind it?
Well, I actually wrote the book when I was 15, and then it got put in a drawer, forgotten about for years. And it wasn't till I became an EA at the local primary school, I hurt my back and had to have a back operation. After the operation, they said, you need to strengthen your core, you need to do something. And so I turned to yoga, and my yoga instructor at the time was the editor of the local newspaper. And so we got talking one day, and I said, oh, it's fascinating that you write. I've always loved writing. I've written a few things, never done anything with it. She left to tour around Australia. Halfway through her with the caravan and the kids, she said that she was bored because she wasn't working. So I don't know what inspired me. I sent her my first book, my Grateful book, and another book that's been published this year. And she came back and said, I know the perfect illustrator that would just go with this poem. Not really. So we got together with Sarah, and she drew exactly what I was thinking.
Okay, so but underneath it all, what was the emotion? Was it a book that would drive children to be more motivated in their lives? Would bring kids together in like a reading circle? I know you read to kids, you read to different groups, and so what was the underlying need for you to get this book out there?
It's funny you asked that. It came to me one day when I was driving. These are lessons that I learnt when I was older about being grateful for the little things, and with the second one, being good enough. And I just wanted kids to know it earlier, learn it earlier.
Okay.
So that's how it's kind of turned into workshops, and now I go read the books, and then we do a workshop on the benefits of gratitude and being kind to others.
It's very important, isn't it? And do you find that actually satisfied? Just you've written 2 books. I know there's another on the way. So they are all different motivational books for children.
Yes.
So what's the second one about?
The second one, my welcome book. It's just being kind to others, knowing that you're good enough, even if people are mean and rough. Welcome to this earth. Celebrate your birthday every year.
Fabulous. So, would you think that an adult reading this book would know it would help their children?
Yeah, I think so. And I'm hoping...
Do you think, or you know?
Yeah, I know. And I'm hoping with that second book, Being Good Enough, that the mums that are reading it take that on board as well.
Good. It's very important to show your kindness and to show your empathy for other people, especially when they're in difficult situations. And I must admit, I know quite a few families that really can't afford to buy this sort of thing, but you're doing the workshops and reading it, and I know those are literature for the public, aren't they?
Yes.
So where's your next workshop?
It's actually at Alkimos. There's a coffee shop
Where's
up there. Up near, I'm in Yanchep, so it's up Marmion Ave, kind of near me. It's at a coffee shop, and we're just running a workshop. But I go to primary schools, daycares, community centres.
Okay. And is there ever an adult book that you want to get out there?
Yes, I have started one.
Well, tell me more.
It's at the early stages. It's a book about me and my daughter and the journey that we're taking. So it's going to take a couple of years to write.
This is the one that I've read some of. You sent some to me?
Yes.
Okay, it sounds pretty deep. It's a deep book, isn't it? Very emotional book.
Yeah, I think it's going to, hopefully it'll help a lot of people that are in similar circumstances.
So I've noticed that you talk about helping kids become more realistic and using your books as like a lifestyle, really. And now the next adult book is on the same theme. It's helping other people. So is that your mission in life, is to help other people realise that kindness and empathy towards others it's needed more now than ever?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is your cause?
Yes. And also getting them reading and outdoor games and things, getting them off the technology and back into the basics of reading and playing board games and things.
I think that comes from both of us, actually, because both of us born in New Zealand and both at school in New Zealand and skip rope and hopscotch and all sorts of out. I mean, the digital world wasn't out there then, but we also had very, very healthy lifestyles. And I believe even in Australia, when people of our age can remember at school and at home, there was nothing like getting into school and playing the games with your mates and going home and playing with your neighbours and joining in the hopscotch was my favourite. There's nothing like getting a kid out there and teaching them. They don't know how to sometimes, do they? They have no idea.
No, I talked to a teacher the other day. It was a bit sad. She said that she's doing primary school and the kids just don't know how to sit still and listen because there's no flashing lights and bells and whistles going off. They just haven't got that attention span anymore.
Yeah, it's very true. I see it even in adults these days. Like I do workshops for art and journaling, writing, and the people that attend are women in their 50s who want to teach their grandkids. They just want to teach them how to get out in the open air, do things like go for a walk. I have a niece over east that took her little boy for a walk around the neighbourhood with a sketchbook and a magnifying glass and a little basket to carry things home like leaves, and they spent 2 hours just looking instead of being in front of a screen or on a phone. I mean, the boy Jeff's he's only 4, but I thought that was magic. I mean, that's the things that we used to do. Fancy teaching your kids that. They must have thought, look at the nutters going along the road staring and stuff. But yeah, it's just, I think it's such a magic thing to do.
Yeah, it is. I work part-time for a dentist, and it's very rarely, we've got puzzles and books in the waiting room, but it's very rare that you'll get a kid picking them up and playing with them because the parents just hand them the phone and say, here, watch this.
I must admit, on that jigsaw puzzles, I always have the one with the missing bit, and then I don't want to do this anymore, so I get all angry. Yeah, so tell me more about your life here in Australia. So you're a dentist's what? What are you with the dentist?
Everything.
So you manage his whole office?
Yeah, managed the office. Yeah, I started off as dental assistant, and then yes, he bought practices, so I would run those, and he'd employ other dentists to come and work there, and so yes, we've been together like 23 years.
It's like a relationship,
like a big brother. Yeah.
And so, what are your hopes for the books? I know they're in the libraries because your publisher has put them into the national libraries, but do the local libraries in Rockingham and Mandurah have them?
No, actually, I haven't been down that way. I've got them up here. I've got them in the Wanneroo Library and the Joondalup Library. I've just emailed the City of Stirling Library, but yes, no, I need to come down your way, don't I?
You do, but I do have some copies of your books at my home. I can always pop them in.
Oh, thank you.
It's not a problem. Yeah, I always find that adult books are sort of looked at, especially in my local libraries, they're looked at twice. and will the public enjoy them? But the kids' books are just opened with open arms. And I have all my kids' books that I've written in there as well. So yeah, it'd be more worthwhile for you to just approach them, and I know they'd welcome you with open arms. Try and do a workshop down there. You know, it's it would be fun.
Yeah, I remember when I took my second book, the Welcome Book, to the Wanneroo Library, and I was looking on the shelves trying to find my Grateful book, and I couldn't see it anywhere, and I was getting upset. But then I went up to the computer and punched it in, and it went out on loan.
Oh, that's
I
nice.
went, oh, that feels really good.
Yeah, yeah. I had the same thing when I did I did a talk at my local, at the main Rockingham Library, and they wanted to know were my books on shelf, and I said yes, they were, and then they weren't, and I got a bit upset about the library. And the librarian was standing in front of me, and she went, "Well, they can't be in two places. They're out online." Then the woman that had loaned them brought them in and held them up and said, "I love them." And so yeah, I had a few bought that night, and yeah, some out on. You know, I had to give the library a second copy because they have proved quite popular, especially my kids' books. So yeah, I would really suggest you do that. You get online and punch into as many libraries as possible. Because they also do workshops for you, so why not? If it's going to help. If it's going to help even one child, then your job's done.
True.
Yeah. So what next?
I got a nice message from one of the ladies at a daycare. She said, I've never had the kids sit this still before on the mat, and then they like doing we made a gratitude box, and she said the next day they were showing kindness to each other, to each other, and they wanted her to message me and let me know that, you know,
that's beautiful.
we were listening.
That's lovely. That's what you want, isn't it?
Yeah, that's why you do it.
Yeah. One kind deed a day, doesn't matter what it is, picking up paper or just giving someone a hug. You know, just one kind deed a day. It's all it takes. And if it catches on, imagine for Perth to start with, imagine what it would be like if, well, not to a stranger. I don't think I like rolling up and hugging a stranger. It'd feel a bit uncomfortable. But, you know, just someone close to you. You know, because
it's so funny you mentioned that. I was watching, what's the show in the mornings where they sell everything? I'm not sure.
I have no idea. I don't watch daytime TV.
But they had this chair. They were advertising this massage chair where it wraps you up and hugs you.
Oh, nice.
And but I'm thinking, wouldn't it be nicer if it came from someone you knew or loved rather than
That's very
a chair?
true. I also read on Facebook that it takes 5 minutes to give a decent hug. Everyone in my family is too busy for 5 minutes, like a quick hug and out the door and off to work. So I don't think that's going to work in my family. But anyway, back to you. So where to from here, Diana? What are you going to do with that? There's another children's book on its way.
Yeah, there's another one in this series, the awareness book. It's okay to make mistakes. They're not mistakes, they're learning experiences. It's all right to sometimes feel anxious. It doesn't last. You know, just take a deep breath and keep going.
Yes, yeah, I agree.
And then the dentist that I work for, his daughter is an artist. So she's just painted me some amazing pictures.
So I see. You showed them to me. They're beautiful. Congratulations to her. They're absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
Stunning work of a young artist. And it's nice to see that you are. The thing I like about when I write a book, you actually have to involve other people into it to do the cover, to do the format. So you're inviting a whole lot of local people. I don't go outside of Australia. So I like to work in my own backyard, which I think is quite valuable towards other people writing a book. If they want advice, then stay in your own backyard. It's so much easier to get to, like in Perth I'm talking about. It's just so much easier to get to work with. And some of the people here are just brilliant. You can't go past them.
And being able to see them face to face.
Exactly. Because there's nothing like eye contact. Yeah, you can always tell how a person's feeling, if they're bright or if they're having a bad day, and that's when you need to be ready with your hugs, especially when it's a printer involved. And he's had a bad day and you think, oh, there goes my books.
Yes. I met a lady at a daycare and she said, I've always wanted to write, but I never have. What's your advice? And I said, just start.
Yes.
There's always editors, there's always people out there that can help you. Just start.
Yes, just
Get
start.
it down.
Pen to paper. And I was encouraging our workshop yesterday, there's nothing wrong with going offline and putting pen to paper. And of course, a couple of the young ladies said to me, "Oh, do you scribe?" And I said, "No, it's not scribing. It's nothing to do with spirituality. It's simply giving your eyes and brain a rest and turning on the creative mode. It's all it's doing, and I can see it in your books. It's so creative, and mine are often pen on paper and then put back onto the digital mode as I work onwards. But yeah, I love the covers of your books. They're fabulous. I don't know if the people out in TV world can see them, but there's my Grateful book, which is right here. This is the newest one, and yeah, there we go there. It's just there, and beautiful, simple covers, beautiful, simple drawings that your kids don't get too confused with.
Yes, Sarah does a good job. Yeah, she's up. Well, she's past us in Yanchep. She's up a bit further, but I think she runs art classes for children.
Fabulous, yeah. So this adult book you're on to, front cover's done?
Oh, no.
No? Oh, right.
I hadn't thought of that.
Something to think about, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, front cover. It's a passion of mine. Get the front cover done first. Whenever I get a lax moment in my writing, I look at the front cover. Yeah.
Oh, so you don't wait till you finish the book?
No, hell no. No, I do it. The first thing I do, think of a name, front cover. That's it. Yeah, that's the way I work.
That keeps you motivated.
Well,
That's a
it
good
keeps
idea.
me motivated. I don't know about other people, but it keeps me motivated. Because you do have the days, I've lost all train of thought, I don't know where I'm going, I don't know what I'm doing, and why am I even a writer? It's just rubbish. And then I look at the front page, I think, no, you're a really good writer. Because you do have to keep yourself motivated. I mean, I just would have to read your books and I'm fully motivated. but,
you get that imposter syndrome happening, don't you?
You do.
Gotta keep
And it happens
yourself going.
it just doesn't happen to you. It happens to all of us. Every single writer, filmmaker, script writer, every single person I've ever met has that imposter person in the back of their mind thinking, this isn't real, you've made all this up. But you haven't. It's really real. And if you realise that you can affect just one person in your life and bring them forth in what they believe is the right thing to do, why not encourage other people to be creative? Cut off the logic for the day and be creative. There's nothing like it.
When I wrote my Grateful book, I still didn't feel like an author. People would say, "Oh, you've written a book. Oh, yeah, but it's just a children's book." Can you just take that just out?
Yes.
And then once I've written the second one, I started to think, oh, yeah, maybe I am an author.
Well, you are an author once you're out there. I mean, to me, I define a writer as I write, but an author is someone that's published. So you hold your head up, girl, because you deserve it. You've worked hard on this. You'll soon have another children's book out, then I presume the adult book. And it may take a year to squeeze out of your heart, but it's there.
Yeah.
Any thoughts about going back home to New Zealand to show off your books?
Yes. Actually, it's funny you should say that. I've just got hold of a lady who's offered to translate them into Maori for me.
Into Māori? Fabulous. Yeah.
So that's what she's doing at the moment.
But what about the libraries in New Zealand? Mine are all through all the major cities. I had to post them off, but yeah, they. I mean, you've got to face facts that the government pays them. They have books in their library, but to get to know about me and my adult books and my children's books, I posted 2 off free. The children's books, so they're like yours. They're light and there's not a lot of pages in them. And they got back to me and said, we're interested. So maybe that would work too. As libraries are fabulous things. They're full of words, full of books, and I just love going there. I get quite hypnotic about the whole thing, and it's also a magic place to write stories from. You watch all the people going in and out, and they've all got stories. Everyone's a talking book. Everyone I've ever met has a story. Airports, cafes, places like this. Put your name down, join in, hold your hand up. Otherwise, you're going to remain like the rest of the authors and sitting in the back room and thinking, I wish. So hold your hand up for a bit more. Contact Home New Zealand. Contact every library. Get them up on your computer, and just say, guess what? I'm here. Deal with it.
Yeah, I must admit, I did try the university bookshop in Dunedin, where I come from, but I had to have a distributor.
Yeah, that's the hard part, is getting an agent.
Mm.
Yeah, but you don't need an agent if you're quite willing just to send one book to, say, 5 major libraries, and they will get back to you. They got back to me, and they don't know me over there. They do now, but they didn't know me then. So, yeah, try that for, I'm giving hints out here over the radio.
I like it. But actually, you know who I did send them to?
No.
I sent them when Meghan and Harry had their baby, and I got a letter back saying thank you very much.
And who told you to do that?
So I think that might have been you. So yeah, I've got Archie
Yes,
Reading
Archie. Yeah.
reading my books
Yeah, well, I did.
in Canada now.
Yes. Oh, they might have taken the book with them. Let's hope. Fingers crossed. Yes. I sent all my books overseas, and 2 palaces in Denmark and 1 in London. But it's very important to know who to send them to. You just can't send them to the Queen.
No, so you need that proper address, or it
You
gets
need
lost.
the proper address, and all it is research. I happen to ring just to make sure everything of my research was correct, which I more than often do these days. I will ring and have a conversation. Again, it's the verbal contact and letting them know you're a real person, you're not a robot. These adverts say, "Are you a robot?" I'd like to say yes sometimes. But yeah, so where next children's book is out when?
Well, Sarah's just said she's going to start now. The kids are going back to school.
Mm-hmm.
So I think she's got 6 months of that one. The other one that Ria's done, she's given me all the paintings. I've had them professionally photographed and turned to a PDF.
Mm-hmm.
So now it just has to go to the typesetter. I've got the manuscript. I've just got to show him what words go with what picture, and once that's done, hopefully in the next month or so.
Okay, and you're dealing with who with that one?
With Brooke, the editors.
No, but who are you going to publish it with?
I'm not too sure at this stage whether I self-publish or go through a publisher.
Just remember the agent's very important. When you do if you self-publish, you're sort of left out in a limb, and it becomes a local book. But if you go through a decent publisher, and they have the agents and the contacts, your book goes global almost. It certainly goes through wherever the agent will get a sale, and that's what they rely upon. So just have a look at that side of it as well. And to all other authors out there, just be careful who you go with. Make sure that your publisher, you know about your publisher, you know her contacts, and you know whether she has agents or whatever's going on. Research the background. Have a chat, have a coffee with her. I'm very, very happy with who my publisher is, and she's brilliant to talk to. She meets with you at any time when she's not busy with the kids. So.
Well, you're lucky she lives near you. I'm at the other end of the world.
Yes, well, not really. You're still in Perth. So just a train ride down. That's all it is.
Yes, I must catch up with her.
Yeah. So, it's been a long journey being an author, isn't it? When I look back, when I first started, I wrote my first book at 45, and like you, I threw it in a drawer because hubby was travelling and I was travelling with him. But it was, and then I was stuck way out by Mount Isa in a mining camp, and to get into the city it was 2 hours. So I decided, and there was no Wi-Fi, and there was no internet.
Oh my goodness, the kids wouldn't know what to do these days.
I know, but I was stuck. So what I did was I went for walks and I took photographs of the strangest little animals you've ever seen. I've never seen them over here, and wrote a book. And and then when I managed to get to the little city, I would get them printed up, and I started selling them, which amazed me because I never thought I'd amount to anything. It was just something I did that kept me from, pulling my hair out. But I had such a good time. They were very simple times too. I kept it as simple as possible. So that's right. I thought, well, if the publican and the the deli wanted to buy them and put them on their shelves, and they weren't really all that they weren't that hot looking, then there was hope. There was hope out there. And so when I got back to Perth a year later, I was actually having a snooze, and it came to me, just look for a publisher. My first publisher was absolutely awful, but we won't go there. But yeah, he was out to make a lot of money from me, and he did. He actually had me quite enchanted with his promises. And then after that relationship came to an end, yeah, it was like the people that I wanted started falling into my life. You know, the real decent publishers and the people that were willing to help you get ahead. You know, I mean, that's what it's all about, is helping one another, holding each other's hands, and, you know, just making sure you're out there.
And like you said, keep it simple. Like, you know, I forget that, you know, sometimes I'm just writing for children. It doesn't have to be overcomplicated.
No. Well, kids don't like there's enough complication. You know, when you think about it, some of the children have complication in their home life. Some have complications at school with their friends at school. So when you get a book that is as beautiful and as simple as what you've put it, it must be quite refreshing. I know I like reading your books. I like reading my books, but I like reading your books too. Yeah. So how can they reach your books, Diana?
Oh, I do have a website, dianasmithbookstoinspire.com, and I've also got a Facebook page, Books to Inspire. Instagram. Now that's Books to Inspire by Diana, I think. Shows you I'm really good with my social media. I need work on that.
Yeah, I will. It's available if you want it.
It is.
And so when people write to you to get a book, what happens? Tell me what you go through, the procedure. So I'm writing to you on your website, and I'm saying, can I please buy My Grateful Book? What happens then?
I just get an email saying that Kez has purchased your book. So I just print off, it's got all your details, everything on there. So I just print that off and go up to the local post office and send it to you.
Or you can send it in ebook.
Yes.
Okay. So how do I pay for it?
I think it works through PayPal or credit card. I do a lot of stalls and markets, so I have a
yeah, but I'm online here, so I'm ordering one of your books.
Oh yes, so just PayPal.
Okay, PayPal, and that's in your name. Yes. So that's at the bottom of your website, and you scroll down, bottom of your website, pay by PayPal.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. And you go to markets and festivals as well?
Yes.
And how do I pay for your book there?
I've got one of those Bluetooth squares that you can hook up.
Oh, I haven't got one of those.
Oh, they're so handy. I've got a friend who comes and does the markets with me. He sells a lot of wooden stuff, and he hasn't got one. So if ever somebody wants it, they don't have money, I just, give it to me.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
And I pay him back later. But yeah, it's just so easy. Doesn't have the fees or charges that PayPal has. Goes in faster.
Okay.
I think they're only
And a workshop. How do people book you for a workshop?
Oh, any way they want to. They can ring my mobile, email, message me on Facebook.
Okay. And what do you charge for a workshop?
With the schools and the daycares, it's $130. Usually I'm there for a good hour and a half to 2 hours. We read the books, and then I've got, the old Chinese noodle containers?
I do.
I bought a lot of those from the party shop.
Okay.
And then I've just cut out pictures, gratitude sayings they might like to glue on their box, and we cut and glue and talk about gratitude.
Okay, excellent. So it's a little bit like my journaling workshops. We cut, glue, we paste, we put nice things in there. I teach them a bit of it's a very simple artwork. Sounds exciting. Yeah. So you travel anywhere to do those workshops?
Yes.
And people know that you will travel?
Yes.
How do they know that?
Good question. I need to put that on my Facebook page.
You do.
But yes,
I must admit I've been stalking your Facebook page.
Oh, have you?
Yes.
Oh no.
And she needs to put this and she needs to do that. So yeah, I'm just as bad. Honestly, I get too busy. I'm just as bad.
Yes.
So,
I have bought a tripod, so we're going to try start Facebook Lives next week.
fabulous.
So you'll
Yeah.
see my face out there, not just my books, but me.
That's wonderful. Yeah, there's nothing to be frightened of. It's just the TV screen, that's all it is. And just talking to nothing to be frightened of at all, except if you're not feeling very well. Okay, so you're going back to New Zealand to
Yes.
take your books back? And I know you've got a mum over there.
Yes. Well, I've just come back. I was over there in November, and yeah, I'm going to try and get back every 6 months, just visit her.
Okay.
So yeah, maybe about May
Okay,
I'll be back again.
that's fabulous. You're going to fly over or cruise over?
Oh, we've always flown. I've never thought of a cruise.
Oh, it's beautiful.
You can get a lot of writing done on a cruise.
Yeah. The only thing is they see you writing, and next thing you're running a writing workshop.
That's all right.
That's happened a couple of times to me. What are you doing? I'm writing. How can we join? Well, you know, you can't write my book for me, but how do you learn to write? So I start writing workshops. And I mean, look, it's not organised by the cruises, but there's a lot of people out there that need to write their bios, and I start them off. You know, there is nothing like putting pen to paper and using the creative side of your mind to get going. That's all they have to do. I mean, I can't write it for them, they've got the history. So yeah, you know, BC or after. So I always say BC or after. What are you gonna name it as? What's the title of your book? Is it about you? And we start them off like that. But I've actually led 2 or 3 writing workshops on cruises now, unbeknown to the cruising people. We just get in a corner, and it's only about 4 or 5, but it's so easy. Yeah, it's fun. Apart from doing everything else on board.
Mm,
Yeah, so look at a cruise.
that's a good idea.
I know, I'm full of good ideas.
Yes. Although, yes, don't want to go to Milford Sound at the moment because you can't get in or out. It's flooded.
Oh, wow.
I was reading the
Okay.
other day.
So, but could you spend some time over there and do workshops there? Do
Mm.
workshops in New Zealand?
Yeah, I can do them anywhere. I mean, that's my husband's dream. He wants to buy a camping truck and just travel around Australia,
Okay.
and I can just do them anywhere and everywhere.
Exactly. You copied my dream. How do you?
I'm sorry, must be a New Zealand thing. We want to go camping.
Yes, yeah, I think it is a Kiwi thing. Well, no, there's loads and loads and loads of nomads on the road. They're from all different nationalities, and that's the best thing at the end of my books. I say, see you around the campfire, because I've heard so many stories from around the campfire. My first book was of a lady that lost her husband while he was driving, and they were going on a journey up north, and he passed away at the wheel.
Oh no.
And I couldn't imagine her feeling, you know. And all I could do was just sit there with my mouth open and listen to her story. And she told there were 3 of us in the camp kitchen, and we were just talking. And she said, "Oh, I'm on my second journey around, because my first journey, my husband passed away." And we went, "Oh, that's a bit sad." She said, "You passed away at the wheel." I went, "Oh my God, how'd you manage?" And she was towing a van as well. So how did you manage? And she said, "We did. We just did." She didn't go into details. I didn't even. My brain wouldn't even go there.
No.
But you know, it was like, tell me your story, and she did, and I made it. The first chapter's all about that. Yeah, so it's amazing. The campfire, or I don't know, like sitting at the airport, sitting at cafes. Even this little experience will go in a book.
Mm.
So yeah, it's just fun. It really is. I like to, writing to me is not serious. It gets serious in the end when the publishing and all the hoo-ha comes into it, and you keep thinking, what am I doing? But the process to me is just fun.
Oh, it is. And it's funny, once you start writing, everything becomes a story. Like, I just take my puppy to the park and I'm like, oh, there's a story in here.
That's right.
We got a lorikeet adopted. We adopted a lorikeet that somebody didn't want. Oh, there's a book in there.
I saw those photos. They were great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's very true. And to keep writing your kids' books, I mean, your dogs are beautiful. They're very eyebally, aren't they? They stare straight in the eye. They're not frightened of you. And the lorikeet, well, yeah, there's a story in there. I mean, you actually raised that bird.
Yeah.
Yeah, from a little fluff. Was a
Ball of fluff.
ball of fluff into this beautiful little bird he is now. He's gorgeous.
Oh, he's very demanding, you walk in the door and he steps his feet back and forward in the cage. Let me out, come on, it's time to fly.
Oh, lovely. Yeah. No, we have children and a dog next door that we call ours because we give it bones, we entertain it because they often go out, and he's a little crier. So and then he starts to howl, and he's only about, I'd say, 3 months at the moment, and he's got the cutest little face that when he literally puckers up, and you see him howling at the back door, and I just go over and have a chat to him. But yeah, he's just so gorgeous.
They get their own personality, don't they?
They certainly do, yeah. So yeah, but I've got no intention of writing books about it, but there's a book in everything, as you say.
I put the bird on the kitchen table this morning so I could eat my cereal, and he started eating it out of the bowl. Hey, that's mine.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I do like birds. I haven't got a passion for the big birds, but the smaller birds I just love. I've had so many canaries, and budgies. In fact, for a gift 2 years ago, my daughter and my son-in-law gave me a beautiful, beautiful dove grey budgie. It was just beautiful. But what they'd done is they bought a cage that was too big for it. So they turned their backs. They bought it inside. They turned their backs. I said, "Can you just put it outside? It's a bit hot with the oven going and that." And it had gotten out. It was sitting on top of the cage.
Oh no.
Yeah, so it flew off. That was my Christmas present. Bye.
Yeah. I enjoyed that for 5 minutes.
Yeah, it was cute. Yeah, it was a good thought. Nice thought. Yeah. So where to from here?
Well, you've given me some ideas now, haven't you?
Well, I hope so.
Yeah. I've got to contact more libraries.
And the ones over home.
Mm.
And that's to all authors out there that if you get to listen to this, your libraries are your main base. So, there's so many creative writing schools going on there. There's writing classes. And if you want to write, join a decent writing class. I run a creative one in Mandurah, but I ran one yesterday, and I only had 4 women, the best class ever, the smallest one. We had so much fun, and it was the Lab Factory in Rockingham, and they provided lunch, laughs. Oh, they're just gorgeous to work with. So yeah, I had a lot of fun yesterday, but I find writing classes, out of that class, 2 women said to me, "I really want to write this book." I said, "Then why haven't you?" Because that's my one question. If you want to write a book, what's stopping you? What is actually stopping you? I know we are all time poor.
I wish I hadn't waited so long.
Yeah. Well, time poor comes into it, doesn't it? We get busy with our lives.
Yeah.
But then again, that's where, you see, people mistake diary and journaling for the same thing. It's not. My diary is next to my laptop, and all dates, times, when and where go in there. But a journal is, I met Diana today, I had a wonderful time. She's actually shouting me morning tea after this, la la la, and I journal about
Do you
it.
think that might be a hint?
I wouldn't hint, it would be so rude. So that's what a journal is for. I think some of the people I met didn't realise the difference. So a diary is a business diary, and they're necessary. But the journal, and all writers have this, you'll wake up at genius time, which is 3 a.m. in the morning, and you'll write. And that's when I journal. If I can't, my bedroom is next to the office, so if I do go in there, I wake my husband. So I journal, I take it to bed, and I sit up and I make myself a cup of tea, and I grab a couple of bickies. It's 3 a.m. in the morning. Who cares? Who actually cares? So, and I'm writing away what I want to go into the book. So, I encourage everyone to journal, because snippets of that journal I will go back to in a year's time and think, oh, I didn't write about that. I met Diana today. It turned out to be a fabulous day. I got shouted morning tea. I got shouted lunch. I got shouted dinner. I was in town the whole day. La la la. And I write, and I see how that's forming into maybe a paragraph in the book.
Yes, you're right. Yes, my coach Annette says the same thing. Write it down. Write it down.
She's my favourite person. One of them.
She is lovely.
Yeah. And it's Stanton. Yeah. So yes,
if you need a life coach, she's great.
Yeah, she is. She's very, very good. I only have to speak to Diana, and I think we all need to take time out and to reach out to clear the emotional rubbish that accumulates, and we all get it.
Well, when I first started writing, and we did an expo, Women's Expo, I think.
That's right, we did.
And they said you have to get your face out there, and what? No, I just write books. I want to stay invisible.
Yes. Yeah.
And yeah, just over the years, talking to her and people like you, it's amazing the confidence that you get.
I've seen it grow.
And
It's
yeah.
lovely. Yeah. So yeah, well, I think we're sort of near enough to finishing. So I think we close it there. And thank you for coming along for a chat at the Chinwag Caravan in Perth at the Fringe Festival. I really loved every moment. Looking forward to that cup of tea, everybody, which I can promise. And we'll chat
fun.
later.
Yeah.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Well done. That was great.
Good.
Hot enough in here?
Yeah. I'm
Aircon,
glowing.
aircon,
I'm
aircon.
glowing so beautifully.
Yes, shiny, shiny.
Was it women don't sweat, horses do. But you see, I'm a Sagittarius, so I'm excused.
Oh,
Oh,
goodness, I want to get the breeze coming through.
Should I turn this off now?
Yes.
I'll turn my one off.